Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel, welcome to another GT Sport Daily Race C race review. From this week's Daily Race C, it's Spa Francorchamps in the heavy rain. We're in the Group 3 machinery, and this race is a little bit of a lesson about drivers just maybe fighting a bit too hard when really they should just be concentrating on keeping the car on the track. The settings for this one on the screen there: 7 laps to get round, no strategy whatsoever. Basically, pick an MR car, make sure you get the heavyweight tyres on and don't die. We're on the womblesheriff account, we're down in P16, but due to a few disconnects we actually start the race in P15. So let's get this one underway. Traction control on 1 to get the car off the line for this grid start. We don't make the best start whatsoever, but it's not helped by the fact that this green NSX just doesn't move at all. So we do try to take avoiding action, but it was a bit too late for us to get around them. And then this green NSX actually has the cheek to then block us into turn number 1 as well. Little bit cheeky if you ask me. They've got the obligatory carnage into turn number 1, a couple of cars spinning around, somebody going backwards there. So that's one position made up. We're side by side with the green NSX down towards Eau Rouge here. Who's going to back out first? We've got the inside line, so thankfully the NSX does see sense on this occasion. It backs out of the move and gives us the line through Eau Rouge and up over Radillion. A little bit of carnage going on there over the top of the crest of the hill. Somebody's lost it, and that's like that bad start kind of works out in our favour because we get a nice run down the Kemmel straight here down towards Lacombe. We go all the way to the inside. Thankfully the 150 metre board is there, so we judge the braking nicely, and you might have seen that missile on the radar. Let's take a look at what happened there. And oh look, it's our green NSX friend once again, and not having the most pristine start to the race, it must be said. So not getting the car off the line and then becoming a missile into Lacombe. We keep the car nice and tight through the chicane there, just kind of negotiating the traffic nicely. We're up into P12, we've got an RCZ on our left hand side here, down towards Rivage. You're going to see the first example of just a car too busy trying to fight me rather than keep the car on the road. Brake too late into Rivage, and that is probably the worst place to brake too late, because it's downhill in the wet. You're just going to slide right off the track and lose a significant amount of time. So up ahead we have GTR1 Zilla. The GTR1 Zilla is a long time subscriber, comments on some of my videos and also comes into the live streams. He's actually a moderator for the channel. I think it's the first time I've been in a race with Mr. Coleman, so nice to see him on the track with us. In the meantime, we are making some moves up the inside of Pouillon as well. That's another 2 cars dispatched, and we're up into P10 here as we come towards the end of lap number 1 and into Blanchimont, or coming out of Blanchimont more to be precise. The 2 cars up ahead have both ran slightly wide. I guess they both got dirty tyres due to that because they both run wide here into the bus stop. We go for a bit of a cheeky move round the outside, quite risky, because if they don't see us, they push us onto that AstroTurf, we will probably spin, but good awareness from the Porsche and the NSX. They both seem to be aware we were on the outside, gave us the room, and we out-drag them down towards La Source. As long as we get through La Source nice and cleanly, that's going to be a highly successful opening lap given what happened around about 20 metres into the race. So P7, the Canadian, is around about 3 seconds up the road, and 2/3 of a lap later we have caught the Canadian. Now personally, if a car catches me for 3 seconds and 2/3 of a lap, I am not fighting that car. You've seen me do it on live streams when I know the car behind me is much quicker. I don't make it hard for them in any way, shape or form, just sort of let them by in the sort of most kind of reasonable way for me not losing time. But the Canadian here seems to want to not give the position up into Blanchimont, which they have every right to do. So we back out of the move, they get on the loud pedal a little bit too enthusiastically, I guess, out of Blanchimont and spin the car, and we make up that position anyway. And personally, in my view, if somebody's catching you by 3 seconds a lap, that's a battle you're not going to win. That car is going to pass you, so why kind of lose more time just fighting a car you're never going to beat? That's just a personal opinion, that's the way I approach the race, but you know, I think it's good. I think it's good racecraft if you ask me. So we actually set a 2:47.4 on that lap, which happened to be the fastest lap of the race. Now that should not be the fastest lap of the race on lap 2, so it did suggest there's a little bit of a battling going up ahead with the lead 6 cars, and that's kind of confirmed as around about a lap later, we are right on at the back of the group. So all 6 cars or 7 cars now in this group, we were looking like we could maybe battle for the win. But once you get into this position here, in these conditions, you do lose quite a lot of front downforce, and it is much easier said than done to get that overtake if the driver in front of you has got fairly reasonable pace. So jumping forward a lap there, you can see it's pretty much a status quo, except it's all closed up. All 7 cars here covered by 3 seconds. This is looking like a very interesting race indeed. But yeah, as I said, getting by these cars is easier said than done unless somebody makes a mistake. And up ahead, the Canadian of Rocket Bunny happens to be a driver that has made a mistake. Unfortunately for us, all 5 of the other drivers, I think Rocket Bunny was actually leading at that point, all 5 of the other drivers managed to successfully get by except us, and we find ourselves on the outside of Blanchimont once again. So we know from earlier on, and I do know from previous experience, that is not a place to be on the track. So we back out of that one and live to fight another day. Can we get the move done down towards the bus stop? We're not anywhere near close enough, let's be honest. So just making sure we don't punt the driver in front. But GT Gods though are about to hand us a little bit of a gift, because up ahead we have the Brazilian of Fernandez, who has a fairly strange looking incident if you ask me. So let's watch the replay of that. Looks like they come out the bus stop, get the car straightened up, looked like they were going straight for at least about 20 metres there, looked like they had everything all kind of set and done. But yeah, then all of a sudden they're fired into the wall on the right hand side. So unfortunate for Fernandez, but a position made up for us. So we're on to lap number 5 now. We've got Speed Hazard and Rocket Bunny just in front of us. We're losing touch with the car right at the front, just due to getting held up by these drivers. But as the race starts to get into its closing stages, you do start to tend to see a few more mistakes, and Speed Hazard has not quite got ready on there right, or Eau Rouge has ran wide. They come off the crest of the hill with very little speed. We were kind of blinded by the 2 cars in front of us. I couldn't see the top of the hill. Unfortunately, we've picked up a half-second penalty. We give Rocket Bunny a little bit of a bump here just to make sure we both get by Speed Hazard. Rocket Bunny is then going to go wide into Lacombe. We're going to try and bounce on that opportunity to go up the inside here and get the move done. We're on the inside here for the last part of Lacombe. It kind of turns in on us a little bit here, and yeah, we're kind of just poking our nose down towards the inside. Not going to go for the move though, we just kind of scare Rocket Bunny off the track. And again, personally, that looked to me like a driver fighting way too hard for a position. Far too concentrated on what our car was doing. They missed their braking point and off the track they go, and they lose 2 positions. At that point we did look like we were a lot quicker than that driver. Again, me at that point, am I going to fight it as hard as what that driver did? Probably not. But we're up to P4. All it was left to do was to try and claim the fastest lap. Coming through the first sector and the second sector was looking fairly promising. Could we get into the 44s? My pace here is not that great, but we are pretty consistent. I haven't managed to do a lap in the 44s yet, so I was quite hopeful we were kind of on course for a 144 lap would be good, wouldn't it? A 244 lap. But before we find that out, the GT Gods did have a little gift once more to deliver to us. If you look up at the driver in P2, they just vanish. So up to a podium position for us. I think I'm supposed to play the X-Files music at this point for spooky going ons, but I don't have the file. Anyway, a podium it is. Are we going to get the lap into 244s? That is the question now. But I think we were distracted just a little bit too much by Bernardo, who is on my friends list. Shame for that driver. I think we're just distracted by them disappearing in front of us, and all of a sudden we had a podium in the bag that we kind of got a poor X out of the bus stop. But all in all, a very fun race, some nice racing with the drivers around me. But yeah, I think the theme of it was quite a number of drivers there just fighting a little bit too hard in my opinion in certain circumstances. This combination is hard enough, just keeping the car on the track when you're in clean air and nobody around you putting pressure on you. It gets doubly hard when you decide to start fighting with other drivers, trying to hang around the outside, trying to get on the throttle that little bit earlier. Very easy to be forced into a mistake. But yeah, let me know what you thought of that one. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, but only if you think the video is worth a like and a subscribe. And until the next one, I shall catch you later. Goodbye now.